Hello everyone, this is Don with MecSoft Support. Today we're going to be taking a look at Visual3DPRINT 2017. And in this short video, we're going to show you how to remesh an existing mesh and then smooth it out with the smoothing tool. Let's have a look. Also, we have some commands on the Inspect and Modify tab that we can use to do remeshing, and we can smooth the mesh out. So let's go ahead and do a remesh and see if we can get this mesh to look a little bit better than it is. Let's select remesh, select the mesh, right click, and for the edge length we'll do a uniform remesh, and we'll set the edge length to 0.05 and we'll set the iterations to 4. Now this means that it's going to remesh the initial mesh, and then it's going to take those results and remesh it, and it's going to do that a total of 4 times. Okay, we're done. Now we can see that we have it's been completely remeshed, although because of the existence of the facets in the mesh, how they were not particularly smoothed out when we started, we see that we have all these little dimples and bumps in the mesh. Now we can also use a command to smooth these out, so let's use the smooth command. Select the mesh, right click, and for the vertex shift direction we're going to allow the points in each vertex triangle of each mesh to move in both directions, both inward and out, so that it can basically, we're going to iron out the mesh and try to get rid of some of these abnormalities. So we're going to let them move in both directions. We're going to have 4 iterations, and we'll pick smooth. So now you can see it did a good job of smoothing it out. They're not as bad. Now we still have some dimples, and on yours, on your meshes, you can redo the smooth command over again and actually smooth it again and actually make it smoother. So let's do that. Select the mesh, right click, and we're going to do another 4 iterations on top of the first that we just did. So here you can see it made it that much smoother. It looks pretty good. Now in your models you can keep doing this, and you can keep smoothing it out, and it'll get better and better and better as you keep smoothing it. For now, let's just work with this and we'll move on. Now, just to show you some of the analysis tools that you have in Visual3DPRINT, while we're on the Inspect and Modify tab, you can also do what's called a reflection line analysis. Let's pick that. Select the mesh. And down here in the options dialog, what it's going to do is it's going to put a texture on the mesh, and you can choose to have that a horizontal texture or a vertical texture. We'll leave it at vertical, and we'll have a total of 10 lines, and we'll pick render. So what you see, what it does is it puts a rendering on the object, and it highlights the areas where you might have some little inconsistencies in the part. And we know we're going to have some little bit of raised areas. We're not too worried about those right now for this demonstration. So let's go ahead, while we have the model rendered, let's change over to the curvature analysis. And you have 4 curvature types. We're going to select the mean and pick Analyze. And what this does, this color codes your mesh, and it shows you color coded where the areas of extreme curvature are occurring. Now we know we have curvature in the beak, in the eye area, and around the neck and the tail, but it highlights some of these other little dimple areas on the part where we have some little curvatures. And as I said previously, you can continue to work this model and smooth it out even further. And also, let's go ahead and close out of this. You also have commands down here to remesh just certain areas. So if you want to pick the mesh, right click, you have these icons here on the toolbar that allows you to pick a subset of the mesh to remesh. Let's say you don't want to remesh all of it. Let's say you just want to remesh one little area. So you can set the radius for the selector. Let's say set that as 0.25. I know I'm going a little bit out of extending beyond the PDF version of this tutorial, but I think it's important just to take a look at this. If you set the radius to 0.25 and select the paint selector icon, you can go in and you can select areas on the mesh that you want to smooth out even further. So those areas are selected. So once they're selected, you can pick remesh, and it'll take those areas and make them remesh just those areas without affecting the rest of the mesh.